Before jazz filled the air, before Mardi Gras parades rolled through the streets, before the French Quarter became world famous, there was a swamp. In 1718, French colonists founded a settlement along a curve of the Mississippi River. They named it La Nouvelle Orléans. The location was strategic, close to the Gulf of Mexico, connected to the vast Mississippi River system. It would become one of the most important port cities in North America. But from the beginning, New Orleans was different. French influence shaped its language and architecture. Then Spain took control in 1763. Spanish rule lasted nearly 40 years. During that time, devastating fires destroyed much of the city. It was rebuilt with Spanish-style balconies, courtyards, and ironwork. Much of what we now see in the French Quarter reflects this Spanish reconstruction. In 1800, France briefly regained control, but in 1803, the United States purchased Louisiana in the historic Louisiana Purchase. New Orleans became American. Yet it never lost its European soul. From the start, cultures blended here: French, Spanish, African, Caribbean, Native American. Later, Irish, German, and Italian immigrants arrived. Enslaved Africans were brought to Louisiana. Their traditions, rhythms, and spirituality survived and transformed the city's identity. Out of hardship and resilience came something extraordinary: music. In the late 1800s, in neighborhoods like Tremé, a new sound was born. Brass bands, improvisation, syncopation, jazz. Musicians like Louis Armstrong would rise from New Orleans and change music forever. Jazz was not just entertainment, it was expression, it was freedom, it was survival. New Orleans became the birthplace of jazz. The city's geography shaped its destiny. Built below sea level in many areas, protected by levees, surrounded by water, the Mississippi River on one side, Lake Pontchartrain on another. Flooding was always a threat, but water also brought prosperity. Cotton, sugar, and goods flowed through its ports. By the mid-1800s, New Orleans was one of the wealthiest cities in America. Grand mansions rose along St. Charles Avenue. Streetcars rolled through neighborhoods. Markets buzzed with languages and accents from around the world. Then came the Civil War. In 1862, Union forces captured New Orleans. Unlike many southern cities, it was spared destruction. But Reconstruction was tense. Racial divisions deepened. Jim Crow laws followed. Yet through hardship, culture continued to thrive. Food became legend: gumbo, jambalaya, beignets at Café du Monde. Creole and Cajun traditions blended flavors from France, Spain, West Africa, and the Caribbean. New Orleans didn't just create taste, it created taste. And then there was Mardi Gras. Carnival season leading up to Lent became the city's most famous celebration. Parades, masks, beads, crews. Colorful floats rolled through the streets: purple for justice, green for faith, gold for power. Mardi Gras became more than a festival, it became identity. In the 20th century, New Orleans faced change: industrial shifts, economic decline, hurricanes. Tourism became central to survival. The French Quarter became a symbol of nightlife and heritage. Bourbon Street pulsed with music. Yet beneath the celebration, the city carried deep inequalities. Poverty remained high, infrastructure fragile. And then, in August 2005, disaster struck: Hurricane Katrina. Levees failed, floodwaters covered nearly 80% of the city. Lives were lost, homes destroyed, communities scattered. It was one of the worst natural disasters in American history. The world watched, and many questioned whether New Orleans would survive. But New Orleans has never been ordinary.
Slowly, painfully, determinedly, the city rebuilt. Neighborhoods returned, music returned, festivals returned. Resilience became its anthem. Today, New Orleans stands as one of the most unique cities in the United States. The French Quarter remains its heart. Street musicians play beneath wrought iron balconies. The sound of trumpets drifts through humid night air. Second-line parades celebrate life. Funerals are mournful and joyful. Because in New Orleans, even sorrow carries rhythm. The city embraces contradiction, joy and tragedy, celebration and struggle, past and present. New Orleans is not just a place, it is a feeling. It is Creole heritage. It is jazz echoing through narrow streets. It is spicy gumbo simmering in a kitchen. It is the Mississippi River rolling endlessly past its levees. From French colony to Spanish stronghold to American port city to global cultural icon, New Orleans has always danced to its own rhythm. It is the soul of America, and its story is still being written.